Hello. Welcome everyone to the LARRAPY Love, Life, and Spirituality podcast. My name is Larry Jackson. I'm the moderator for this podcast session. Today we have a special guest. Welcome, Miss Ash. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Um, you know, when we talk about matters, related to life, life is a journey. It's got many twists and turns. The question I want to ask you is, what is a memorable life experience or challenge that has significantly shaped who you are?
I think becoming a single mother was a life challenge in itself, and also a journey that shaped me to be the woman that I am today.
Okay. Were there challenges associated? Were there challenges being a mother? Like, can you talk about that a little bit? What were some of the challenges?
Challenges, yes, being a young mother. I was 23, right out of college. Didn't really, know much, but what I knew. Um, and I'm a very stubborn person, so I don't really like people telling me what to do. So that's a challenge in itself, and then trying to have a baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was hard for me to, I guess, allow people to help me.
Okay.
Which in turn, gave me a lot of challenges because a lot of stuff I probably didn't even have to go through if I would have just, leaned on some people.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel as though the things that I went through with my daughter created the bond that we have today because she's 16.
Mm-hmm.
It created the type of relationship that we have, but it also created me to be not only a better woman because I have somebody looking up to me, but a better person and a better mother. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I often have to think back to my teenage days,
Mm-hmm.
to relate to her today and to be able to handle, situations that we face today. And I really don't, when I was young back then, right out of college, I don't think that if I had a kid, I don't think that I would have been as disciplined as I am. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think I would be as goal driven as I am when I want something, I see something, I go after it. I don't really take no for an answer, and I don't really like excuses. I hate excuses. So it's like I just get stuff done. Like if I want it, I do it. So
Mm-hmm.
I think all of the things that she and I had to deal with, had to go through in life, put me in a position to be who I am.
Yeah. Yeah. I think when you have a kid, it puts a little bit of fire underneath your bosom
Yeah.
for some people, for a lot of people, I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I could have took the easy road out. I didn't have to endure a lot of the challenges that I did. But I don't think that I would have learned the lessons that I learned either.
Right.
Had I just let my mama take care of it,
Right.
and just leaned on her for everything. Let her raise my child. I wouldn't have grew up.
Yeah.
So
So talking about the lessons, what lessons, I sort of heard a little bit of it with the idea that just learning to ask for help is a lesson in and of itself,
whoa.
right?
Yeah.
It's like a lesson of humility, right? A painful lesson of humility.
Oh, painful. Okay. Oh.
Um, aside from that, what other, what other lessons, or how did you overcome when you talk about the challenge of being a mother, how did you overcome those challenges, or what lessons did you learn along the way that sort of helped groom you a little bit? I heard a little bit of it, but if you could elaborate off it a little bit.
Yeah. So I think one of the biggest lessons that I learned was how to manage my time.
Mm,
How to
time.
manage my time, how to manage my money, what are priorities.
Mm-hmm.
And something that I am still learning because like you said, when as you continue to grow, you're going to continue to change. So the mother that
Mm-hmm.
she needed me to be to her at 3 years old, not the same mama she needed at 16.
Right.
So learning to adapt grow with her because I mean I was 23. I just feel like I was still a kid myself.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of those humiliating lessons, things that
Mm-hmm.
taught me humility and taught me to be humble and set my pride to the side. um I'm able to show her because she is a product of her mother, and she act more like me than me sometimes. So, I'm often having to those conversations that I have with myself to get
Mm-hmm.
Ashlee together. I'm having to have those conversations with her. So that lesson of, prioritizing things in my life, and she needs different every aspect of life. She's needed to be in a different priority setting. Yes, she's always number one, but
Mm-hmm.
she's way more independent now. However, she still
Right.
just feel like, my mama still want to spend time with me. My mama still want to be around me. And it's
Right.
like on my hand, I work is all I can see. So,
Mm-hmm. Right.
I'm taking those lessons that I learned early on. Okay, now I have to take a step back and prioritize. Okay, where do I see she needs to be in the midst of
Mhm.
me trying to make life continue to happen for us?
Right. Right. So that what we all have to sort of figure out as parents is the balance, work
Right,
life balance.
right, right.
Um,
And it looks
because
different for
yeah,
everybody.
right.
It looks
Yeah.
different because it's just me and her. She don't have no siblings, not that live here.
Mm. Yeah.
Just us and
So
the
yeah.
cat.
Yeah,
So
yeah. No distract points, right?
no,
Nothing to deflect energy. So you then become the focal point of the energy. That in of itself can be difficult. I've got multiple kids, and sometimes when I want them to get distracted and I can't give them energy,
we can
I'm
play
just
with
you
each
guys
other.
go
Mm-mm.
argue with
Won't
one
have that.
another.
Won't
Right?
have that. Won't
Yeah.
have that. It's just her and
Is
I.
that challenge? Is there any understanding? Is there any understanding as it relates to her understanding that she's the only child, and therefore there's dynamics that come along with that about herself? Like, there's self awareness, or she's still in ego mode in her
No,
teenage.
she's very aware
Okay.
because she'll have friends over.
Okay.
And she knows that it's only so many days she can take them. They gotta go.
Okay.
Because this is our life. This is how we do things. So she's aware that she's an only child, and some of the feelings and emotions that come along with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that she's still learning um,
Mm-hmm.
the dynamic of me trying to balance, being her mom and making
Mm-hmm.
sure I'm, hitting all my mom points, but also being the head of the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's more times when we do have challenges, that's where they come in. She's wanting my time,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm working.
Okay. Okay. I want to deflect a little bit. Um, we're gonna shift hard left. I want to talk
Okay.
about love.
All right.
Love is a drug. Love is a powerful thing
Mhm.
that can manifest in various forms. It doesn't necessarily have to be in a relationship. It can be in different ways, right? We have love in multiple aspects of our lives. Tell me about a moment of love or kindness that you've experienced or witnessed that has had a profound effect on
When I think of a time of love, when love had an effect on me, I don't associate it with kindness.
you.
Um, and I think that being an adult and going through therapy on my own and
Mm,
doing self work, I realized that I've never really viewed love in a positive light because
mm,
that's not what was shown to me.
mm,
And so yeah, I don't think of kind. I know now that love is patient and love is kind and it doesn't boast. And so I know how I'm opening myself more now to receiving real love. I know how
okay.
to give love because I know what I want to feel, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah.
But I don't think I gravitate to the right kind because I never viewed it in a positive light. I viewed it as something
Mhm.
negative. So when negative did not come along with it, I ran away from that kind of love.
Okay. Yeah, that's the concept of love is an interesting dynamic because there is the positive aspects of love, and then there is the
Right.
very
But
brutal.
right.
And it's a very much bittersweet type of combination of
Right.
a emotion or a interaction that we have with not just not just relationship, what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
but also outside of the intimate relationship into our relationships with other people.
Right.
That principle of love that says, for me, I'm still trying to figure out, wrap my brain around the long suffering aspect of it.
Oh my God.
It's like, how long do I long suffer? It says, explain to me,
And
Lord.
see, that's me. That's what my stubbornness will kick in because I don't want to deal with this. I'm not about to suffer. Nah, I'm good. Bye.
Yeah, he said, Lord, give me some more articulation
Y'all need a
as
little bit
to
more. I need a
how
little bit more
long.
clarity.
I get it. I gotta love the suffering to a degree. How long
How long
do
am
I
I
have to
supposed
be
to
in it?
suffer? How long am I supposed to endure?
It isn't wise to so long suffer with the wrong
With the
people.
wrong. Hello?
And how do I
Scary.
know? How do I know I'm long suffering with the right people? Lord, give me some articulation and some wisdom here. I might need you to walk with me on this one here.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm stressed. This is Larry here. This is Larry speaking here. Larry 101. All right. So, as it relates to, you talked about your growth as it relates to love, having a little bit of a almost like anticipation that love is not love unless it's the bad type of love, and sort of
Right.
transitioning into understanding that no, love can be healthy,
Yeah.
healthy love. Um, you sort of just talked about it, but elaborate off of it. How has that perspective influenced you, and giving you wisdom on how you interact going forward in life?
As far as like me knowing that love can be healthy or no love
Yeah,
can
knowing that love can be
be
healthy. How does that shift how you
it
interact?
it definitely makes me it makes me want to be more vulnerable, more
Mm,
open, and less wall up,
yeah,
hardcore, get out of my face.
right. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it makes me think. I think more about love in a positive light now.
Mhm.
Like just the way that I look at it, I see people. I have a lot of friends that are married, and it's almost as if my windshield wipers have been cleaned off in the
Mm.
way that I view them, as married couples. And I can see, it's like I could see clearly what love for me is supposed to, what that looks like for me in
Mhm.
some of my friends. I see what I want and I see what I don't want.
Mhm.
I see the
Right.
stuff that I can tolerate. I see the stuff I can't tolerate. Because
Right.
my friends, the girls, all the women that are married that are around me, I'm very open with them. The more I'm aware of Ashlee and who Ashlee is, I'm very open with them
Mhm.
about what love and relationship and marriage, can look like for me. And
Yeah.
and I'll tell them, like I appreciate when your husband pulled out the chair for you. Like
Yeah.
I'm the type of girl like I can pull up my own chair, nigga. Dang. I don't have to be like that. I want to be a soft girl, Larry. I'm trying to live in my soft girl era, okay? So I have to be more open and more vulnerable and
Right.
allow people, not just men, but like I even have a hard time, like with my homegirls that are single.
Mhm.
Actually, I'm gonna pay for your meal. For what? I got it.
Right.
But it's being open to people showing me love all the way around me.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. That openness can be hard to do
Hmm.
when you maybe have lived a life and you've only anticipated the hard part that's caused you to be defensive and guard up. And I can take, and then you create these little healthy, jacked up psychological things to yourself. No, I got it. I can take care of myself. And you rationalize
Because I don't need
that,
nobody thinking I'm broke, you know?
right? Or you take offense to it. It's like, what you think? You don't think I got it,
And
right?
they just like, dang, I'm just trying to be nice. You're such a great person. You don't know
Right.
what the song you sang did for me. You know, you don't know what those words you said the other day when you didn't think I was paying attention. You don't know what that did for me. And a lot of my friends have praised me on the way that I, interact with my daughter. They're like,
Yeah.
Ashlee, you have no idea how we admire, you know, how you take her mental health, which I know that's where we're going next, into consideration. And I have to adjust. I have literally had to adjust, Larry, like my whole life. Mental health became very important to me. It became
Yeah.
prevalent to me when my daughter
Okay.
was suicidal. It
Mm.
became real. It like literally slapped me in the face. I was like, I'm sorry, wait, what?
Yeah. 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 That's a heavy thing to deal with, even as a parent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how did you handle that? I'm curious.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't.
Mm.
I didn't. I didn't handle it. I uh I just went what they say do. I go do it.
Okay.
You know. So
Yeah. I. Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you from a secondhand experience deal with suicide. I happen to have the fortunate pleasure or a displeasure of sometimes dealing with particularly African men who end up saying things like this. I put it like that. And um, I don't know. I imagine across the board in our community as African Americans, talking about these things are extremely taboo. I
mm,
know it's extremely so for men. Men will cover this up. Men will not tell you. A lot of men will not tell you what they're going through unless you say you're going through it, and they're like, "Oh, finally,
yeah,
I can
yeah,
breathe." Have
yeah,
you ever seen that phenomena? It
yeah,
happens quite often, and yeah, because they're looking because the world has told them that they can't be vulnerable.
mm,
And they tell us that we can't be vulnerable.
yeah,
I believe it's the Afrocentric. I think it's beyond just men. And so therefore, to show vulnerability or any remnants of vulnerability, we almost don't even know what to do with it when it's warranted. So when you said that, that's what I saw. I saw tough Ashlee saying, okay, I think I'm supposed to be vulnerable right now, but I don't really know how to handle vulnerability as it relates to,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, so then I just, do what I do what I've always
Yeah.
done, right?
Well,
I,
exactly. Do what I've always done. I take care of it. I handle it.
I handle it, never dealing with the emotion in and of itself, right? Yeah. Yeah, I could see you start stalling a little bit even now. That's okay. We on camera, but
You can edit that part out, okay?
we go edit that part out there. So why everybody's like, why is she staring at the screen so hard? No, no.
Is she stuck? Did her internet get stuck?
Right. Did the camera freeze? No. These are topics. We're gonna try to be light on it today, but this is the reality.
Yeah,
You know, this is the reality of a lot of people's experiences, but we
yeah,
know for a fact it's the reality of Afrocentric experience.
absolutely,
You know,
absolutely.
so it, you know, it I have seen them again. I've seen the most effective route to even getting somebody to talk about it if they see that somebody else
Yeah,
they see someone else being modeling
yeah,
vulnerability. That's what it
yeah,
is. And they say,
yeah,
okay, maybe I can say this and not get
Mm-hmm.
hurt.
And I,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Or not get
Mm-hmm.
judged.
Mm-hmm.
You talk whether it be mental or emotional pain or the
Yeah.
consequence of expressing it or not getting the feedback that you
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, so we go down a tangent there too, but this is great. I'm glad, that you had the courage to even bring it up or talk about it a little bit. It does ring, to the next question, which is obviously mental health is important. Even as it relates to what you just spoke of, why is that important even as it relates to that? Let me frame it like
Because that's my baby. Like, I can't I can't allow, me to know that she's feeling like this, or, that she's dealing with this, even if it has nothing to do with home life, because these kids deal with stuff at school all the time. That's 9 times out of 10 where it comes from. But it became very important to me because it's like it's my job, it's my duty as her mother,
that.
to raise a sane adult that can function in this crazy life. And she has to be mentally okay to be able to deal with life. And I mean, her struggles opened up my eyes to my own
Mm,
because I got this hardcore exterior. I have to put on face
mhm,
pretty much for every job, every role that I play. I have to
mhm.
put on a face. I'm a worship leader. I can't go
Right.
to church, and really show how I feel. I cuss
Mm,
everybody out. That's not very Christian like, right?
right.
So I have to put on my worship leader face.
Yeah.
At home, I can't, I don't want to project any of my frustrations or, feelings onto my child because I know she deals with her own. So I got to put it on when I'm in front of her too. I can't really take anything off until I get in my room and close my door,
Mm,
you
yeah.
know? So even when I'm, working my business and I'm going into people's homes, my energy got to be right. I'm
Yeah.
braiding children's hair. Like kids can feel that.
Yeah. So, but you said your daughter sort of helped you to not feel like you had to wear the mask all the time.
No, it's just that her being able to deal with what she is dealing with, being able to
Hmm.
handle that in the mother role, opened my eyes to my own struggles.
Okay. As so to say that not only did you have to like shut it off, but you almost was denying it almost in
Yeah,
some regard.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I was in denial for decades, Larry.
Wow. Well, what advice would you give to somebody who's in that similar circumstance there?
Oh, therapy. Okay. You need to find you a therapist, multiple therapists
Mhm.
that gives you different perspectives on the same situation, because a lot of times people just go to one therapist and whatever they say they just like, okay, I'm gonna follow their advice. That may not match with what with what your energy and what your body is telling you to do. So you need
Right.
different perspectives, and I love that about me. I'll listen to different perspectives because I think differently. Everybody
Mhm.
don't think the way that I think, but there are some people that do.
Right. Right.
So I say seek therapists and get multiple opinions, and if you're going to have friends that you confide in, you don't need friends that are not like-minded.
Right. Right. Nobody's challenging you. Nobody's challenging
Everybody
you.
just going, oh yeah, yeah, that's good. That you don't need them kind. Them ain't your friends. Those are not the ones that you want.
Right. Right.
You want the
Yeah.
ones that's gonna tell you the real. Sis, you was wrong. Okay,
Right.
I
Right.
love you, but that ain't it. Don't do that. Like you need to go apologize or
Right.
whatever the case may be. But in all honesty, I've seen since I started therapy, I've probably seen 4 therapists,
Okay.
5, 2 males and
Mhm.
3 women.
Okay.
And I think that out of all 5 of them, I feel like the advice that I was given and still get, from a few,
Mhm.
um, it keeps me grounded and it keeps me going and it keeps things in perspective. Like a lot of
Right.
times, Larry, I hadn't talked to you in I don't know how long, but some of the stuff you said is embedded in my brain. And it's like when I get into a situation where I want to act out of emotions, I can
Mhm.
hear you saying, you know, no, you can't do that. You need to think rationally, facts over feelings. Come on now,
Right.
So yeah, that's my advice, man. I need to get some therapy.
Get some
And
therapy. All right.
yeah,
And
yeah,
you know what the thing I liked about what you said, that I think is it's an unspoken, it's an untold secret as it relates to really getting solid support is seek multiple
oh yeah,
sources.
oh yeah.
Uh,
They're not
you-
gonna tell
you-
you that
yeah,
popularly.
one I 100% support that in the sense that you're going to meet, therapists are human just like anybody else.
Right.
And they have their own ideologies and thread of thought. There are like thousands of different theories out there
Hmm.
that every therapist attributes to based off of their own personal sensibilities, based off of their own what they identify as truth.
Right.
And just as much as you want to find somebody with maybe a similar type of energy, if that makes any sense. Like you don't want to get
Hmm.
somebody so off the keister that they're gonna have you thinking outside of your belief system and everything
Right.
else. But you want to find a lot of people who have the same type of seem like they have the same foundational base. And
Right.
even as a Christian,
Right.
even as a Christian, I would say that if this is for those who you really have to ask yourself who what background is going to best meet my core belief system. I think that's so huge as it relates to spirituality. Even if I'm a Christian, I'm probably going to seek some people that have a strong understanding of spirituality and faith,
Right.
because you can't talk about believing in the impossible with somebody who don't believe in the impossible.
Right. They're not gonna get it.
They're gonna try to force ground
Their
you.
belief on you. Yeah.
Right. That's that part that doesn't get talked about
Yeah.
in the therapeutic realm is being careful who you choose to be your therapist, because that therapist can accidentally be a bit influential and not even know that they may be influencing you outside of the realm of your. Now if it's a solid therapist, no matter what they believe, I would imagine they could riff off of your belief system, but
Right.
I don't trust the market like that to be definitive that everybody's gonna be like that. Like just go just
And I don't trust the market.
I, there are too many people out there that
I agree.
it's a human market just like anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and they're talking about life with you,
Yeah.
and everybody has to ask themselves, who do I want talking to me about life?
Yeah.
A and B, I want to get it from more than one source because I don't want to isolate myself to one person's energy, because that therapist is a form of an oracle or influence
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
nature. They're actually good at it. They're good at listening, and they're good at giving solid feedback. And that comes with a little bit of, you have to really be careful with that and make sure you're comparing it.
Hmm.
What you said was so critical as it relates to comparison of
Hmm.
of resources to make sure that it aligns up. Anyways, all right. Spirituality can mean different things to different people. Even sitting here, me and you, we may have different backgrounds, even on the unction or faith of Christianity, right?
Right.
How do you define spirituality?
Mm. I define spirituality as the believing in God, basically. Believing that there is a higher power greater than you that
Mhm.
makes life possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That being said, is it important to have a relationship with God or
Oh,
higher?
absolutely. Because I feel like if you don't believe in nothing, then like you say, like if you don't believe that the impossible is possible, then it's like, what keeps you going? You don't have anything to believe in. Like, I just feel like you have to have some grounding, some roots, some when things ain't going your way, because that's just like how life is. It's like, where does your faith lie? Do you believe that a higher power is looking out for you? That is orchestrating things, and like you need that. I just feel like that. I feel bad for people who don't believe in God, man. I do, because it's
Me
like,
too.
but your life
You know?
is so sad. It's like, where's your happiness coming from then?
Yeah, I feel sad, not in the sense that I think people's lives are sad per
I
se,
do.
but I'll say from personal experience, my life would be. I'll tell my, I don't think I'd be here if I didn't have
Oh, I
solid
know.
grounding in God. And I'm saying this as a therapist. I'm saying this, as a study therapist, as a life coach, whatever you want to call it. Somebody who's supposed to be, grounded in wisdom of practical knowledge and behavior.
Mm-hmm.
I would be a total wreck, because there are just things in your life that push you to the limits. And where do you send that energy to?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you know, even if it's a rabbit's foot effect, to just believe, just to feel that it's
Right.
going somewhere other than just being stuck with you.
Right. Right. Right.
Well, so yeah, so 100% agree. What is a personal experience or practice that has brought you peace? She laughs.
What is a what? Say it again. I'm sorry.
An spiritual experience or practice, or personal practice that has brought you a sense of peace and connection?
Well, I'm a worship leader,
Okay, right.
and I grew up in church.
Mhm.
Um, but church people, I don't like. I have a hard time with church people. I have a very hard time with church people.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I grew up in a household with a very abusive pastor, youth pastor.
Mm.
So it kind of tainted my image on religion a lot,
Right.
growing up. And I used to tell my mom all the time, I never forget. I used to be like, when I grow up and have kids, I'm never making them go to church. I can't wait till I can make my own decisions. I'm never going to church.
Right.
Fast forward, I started singing with a very known gospel artist. I started singing with him,
Okay.
traveling around the world, tainted my image again,
Mm.
because the stuff that happens in the gospel industry is just like, y'all serve the Lord. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and take a step back from that. So I
Right.
stopped going to church.
Mm.
Stopped going to church. One of my friends who I sang with and was traveling with came. He would call me, check in with me often. Hey sis, just checking in with you and the baby girl. How y'all doing? Whatever, whatever. I want you to come and check out my church. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. And he's like, no,
Right.
actually for real. Like, it's different. I really think you should come and check it out.
Mm.
And he was like, I'm gonna pay you to come and sing. And I was like, you gonna pay me to come sing? Okay, whatever. I'll come and try it out. I'll come sing on the praise team, whatever. I never got paid to sing at church before. I got paid when I was traveling, but to just sing at regular church, no.
Mm.
Like, you do it for the Lord, okay? This is your
Right.
service.
Right.
So I went to his church, and that was in 2010. Yeah, Asia was about to be 3. 2010, and fast forward, I am now the worship leader at the same church.
Wow.
That's how much of an impact this church had on my spiritual beliefs. So that's a whole
Wow.
podcast in itself.
No kidding.
No kidding.
Yeah.
My daughter was the we. I came there August of 2010. Asia was going to be 3 in September,
Mm.
and I've moved to Austin and back, and they still I was coming home every weekend to sing, because they
Wow.
did not want to lose, me as and it's like the pastor, just him and his wife, they just poured so much into me
Mm.
And it just can't, like, it was just genuine, and it wasn't,
Yeah.
it was never no, under, it was something I've never experienced before in church.
Right.
So
Yeah. Wow. You know, there's a nugget at the end of this, at the end of what you said that resonated with me. That if you've ever been tainted by the religious experience, um, the thing that I think helps you cross over is authenticity.
mm-hmm,
You know what I'm
mm-hmm,
saying? When you can see somebody and you can be like, okay, I've seen twisted people, but this person
mm-hmm,
really looks like they're like pressing toward the mark.
mm-hmm.
You know, there's something profound about that,
Yeah,
about having that type of archetype
yeah.
in a world that always is, they make sin the
Faith.
standard, even in the religious world. Like sin is like the standard. I hate to say it like that, but it's
But
just like
yeah,
the inability to see,
yeah.
inability to see where you need help at or where you need to change at. That lack of self-awareness is huge from a fear-based perspective in the church.
Ooh, it is. It is.
You know,
It is,
it's
man.
like, man, I can see this. You can't see
You
this.
can't see, okay.
You-
I can't be around you. With those eyes, I can't.
yeah.
I don't have those eyes.
Or that's what God looks like. You telling me you are the standard and that's what God looks like? Yeah, no, yeah. There's something beautifully profound and revelationary about having a experience with somebody who believes it, who does not remove themselves from the standard, who's been doing it for a long time, who's been holding up the fort. I can't say enough. Obviously, I got a person like that in my life, but I have some people in my life that are the opposite of that too, that are completely unself-aware. Everybody that is completely yields to that. So I can understand that. I can understand that experience, but not to put infuse all of Larry in this, but that resonated with me because I think that's a
Yeah,
lot of people.
yeah.
And what your experience with regards to that bridge, I think that is the objective for the modern church in some regards. How do I bring those people back into the church? Just be
You
authentic.
just gotta be authentic, man. Like,
Just be
for real.
authentic.
All you gotta do is be
Live
yourself.
up.
People who've been hurt, this is why I feel like authenticity is so important
Mhm,
for people who've experienced hurt in the organized religion,
mhm.
because we already know like, you coming with you know what I'm saying, you coming,
Right.
it's already a unspoken thing
Mm.
that y'all are fake.
Yeah.
Y'all
Right.
have to
Right.
pretend, you got to put on.
Right.
People who've been hurt, we know real, we know authentic when we feel it.
Right. Right.
Lauren Hill said it best, you know the truth by the way it feels. We could
Yeah.
feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mary, for the first time in my adult life, I joined the church.
Yeah.
I did that on my own
Yeah.
as an adult, as an almost 40-year-old woman.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
major for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the pastor was like, because he knows my views, he knows my point, he understands me and where I came from. We kind of had a similar background in religion, growing up in church. So I think he always saw, and he always tell me that he saw something in me that I wasn't ready to see yet.
Mm.
And when I made that move, I think him and his wife were more excited than everybody else in the church. Was like, well, dang, Ashlee, we thought you was already a member. You've been here for so long. No, but babe, I used to take people all the time. No, I worked there. I'm employed there.
Mm.
I'm telling you, as little as a year ago, because I just joined, maybe
Okay.
like six. I went through the 7-week discipleship class. That's
Okay.
major too. Okay,
Okay.
for
Wow.
me,
Wow.
big thing. And that just happened. So
Wow.
but prior to, I would always be like, if I wasn't getting no check, I wouldn't be at nobody's church. Like, I wouldn't say that.
You were
That's
definitely
real.
incentivized.
And I told the pastor, you won't, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense to me. You got to talk
Right.
my language.
Right.
And he
Especially.
understands
Right.
me.
right. But yeah, right. And there's that unconditional regard, which which yeah, yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. I love it. They my family, man. They've been more family to me than my family, my blood family. So
That's
that
beautiful.
like, yeah.
Wow,
hmm
wow.
I want to
I'm so
move out of
happy for
Texas
you.
so bad, and that's the only thing that I'm considering is what they gonna do without me.
Yeah,
That's how
that
impactful these people have been on my life.
that is a beautifully profound sort of transition back to God.
hmm
You know,
It really
I've got my curious danger point in it, but because I feel like people will disappoint eventually.
yeah.
You know
And
what I'm saying? That's the hard part.
hmm
This is such a crutch of life because
yeah.
every yeah, that's the part I was like, that's gonna suck, but I hope that she gets to a profound sense of relationship before.
And I think that's what it is. I've built a
Yeah,
relationship with these people. I don't
yeah,
hold them on a pedestal like I
yeah.
was doing
Okay,
before.
yeah, but
So I
even
think,
with God,
yeah, they're
you know
not,
what I'm
I don't
saying?
worship them. They people just like me.
Okay,
I
okay,
talk to
yeah,
Pastor Eastland like like I'm talking to you right now. He already know I will talk to him. I'm a cuss sometimes if I'm upset. Like
right,
he knows. So
yeah,
I don't I know that he's a man.
yeah. Let me ask you a challenging question.
Okay.
Man, this is like the disruptive part of me. I have to be careful.
Of course.
Of course, jeez. All right, so let's say that the pastor, he find out that the pastor has done something egregious. How would that impact your relationship with God?
Hmm. I don't think it would impact my relationship with God
Mm,
because I think that my where my faith is now and how rooted and
mm,
grounded I am with my relationship with God. My relationship with Him has strengthened, and it's strengthened. I'm not going to say solely because of this one pastor. It's strengthened because of the church as a whole
right.
and how they embraced me. I feel like they embodied the love of God that I needed to see and
Okay.
experience for myself. So
Right.
I think I would be devastated. I would be disappointed, but it's not a one man can't turn me away from the me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Yeah.
my faith is stronger than that now. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't
Yeah.
before,
Yeah.
which is why I
Yeah.
was just like, yeah, God, all your people, they're weird. You can have them. I'm good. I'm gonna go sit over here in the corner.
Right.
And it's like now God has shown himself. Oh my God. He's shown himself
Mm,
merciful and mighty in so many areas of my life that I cannot give nobody the credit and the glory but
mm, mm,
I can't contribute nothing happening in my life to Hope Church. I can only contribute them bringing me back to my first love.
mm,
That's what I can give them. So the disappointment is gonna be there because they people, you know.
mm,
But that don't change what God has done for me.
mm. Word from on high. I almost heard testimony. He's been
Almost
too good. He's been too good. I'm not gonna let him go.
for real. The God to bring it all back.
Woo! All right. All right, we go end on that note. There, this experiment turned out to work wonderful.
Look at
This,
that. See,
yes, you done good. You done
your next
good.
pastor
You
got a
actually
hard.
done good.
They got a hard act to follow. Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So the ones after you, they got to figure out a way to infuse some
Figure it
soul or
out.
some
Got to
Holy
be
Ghost.
authentic, man.
Yeah,
Listen,
we
you
got.
got to be
Yeah, they better
authentic.
pray. I don't know. They better have to make sure the prayer life is real strong so they can bring something to the table. All right, Miss Ashley. Thank you for joining the podcast. It went a little bit longer. This is the first experiment. It's only supposed to last 15 minutes,
But you can
but
just cut and paste.
yeah,
All the
yeah,
good
you
stuff is for us.
yeah. This is some great. This is really has some really solid energy. Um, that I felt like could not be ignored. There's still a lot of there's I mean you could I mean Miss Ashlee, you could write a book on your experience.
I really
Seriously. You know, because there's a message that I can hear a message at every turn in your
mm,
process, whether it be transition
wow.
from motherhood, right, getting past the hurt or the false assumption about love in your relationships, to getting past the damage from the church and coming into your own personal relationship with God through an authentic experience with a bridge between you and God. I mean, shoot, that's the book right there, you know.
Well, Larry, listen, okay. You after you get your stuff together, situated, that's gonna be a next project. We start working on this book.
I work on this book. All right, that works. I'd love to help you out with it. So we'll talk. For the audience that's listening to us jive back and forth at the end here, thank you for joining the podcast. Again, this is LARRAPY, Love, Life, and Spirituality podcast. We're glad to have Miss Ashlee. And look for I want to have an extended conversation here. You got some pockets of information here
I know, right?
that I think that I honestly I think is extremely helpful from a ministerial standpoint. You have a testimony, and I think people need to hear the realness with regards to damage and how
Mm-hmm.
it impacts you across the board. There's something in how you come out of trauma,
Yeah.
church trauma, and in personal trauma. So, anyways, that's another chapter.
Okay.
Guys, have a great day. God bless. We'll talk to you later, Ash. All
Bye.
right, bye.